down into the water, which goes over their canoe, and it all goes wobbly, as it tends to do under these circumstances. And then the next thing that they can remember, they're on the bank. The fire that they built was now basically just embers, and they don't know what's gone on. They're in a very, very confused and frightened state, and the object has gone, and they come home. They live with this for a few years. Eventually, one of them talks to a veteran UFO researcher by the name of Ray Fowler. He organises hypnosis, and they report this on-board experience with these weird entities that look like this, almost insectoid in appearance. And all four of these guys give a very similar on-board experience. You know, I mean, it's not just similar, it's almost identical. And this was done quite separately. And yet, this on-board experience was aboard a ball of light. There was no physical spacecraft involved here. And in fact, the guys actually said, as this object came towards them, they said that it was like this huge plasma form. They could actually even see what they called like the magnetic fields around it. And yet they gave an absolute classic on-board encounter, which clearly involved a missing time episode of at least 3 hours. But why did they report these strange creatures? You know, I mean, were these really entities from another planet? Well, maybe. You see, since 1947, we have been believing that we are being visited by aliens from another planet. And who knows, maybe we are. We also believe that these aliens came here thousands of years ago and may have given us some kind of knowledge and technology that allowed us to build some of the most, you know, strange and mysterious monuments around. Did this occur? Maybe. But it's also clouded the way that we perceive strange phenomena. It's given us a solution as to what it is. And I think that the phenomena is intelligent, and it reads this in us, and it says, all right, you want space aliens? I'll give you space aliens. In other words, what we see today is the product of our own conscious interaction with this phenomena. So that when we go aboard these crafts, that's exactly what we're going to encounter. You know, the inside of a spacecraft, when we enter into these bubble universes. But this is a modern creation, because these same encounters with these mysterious lights in exactly the same locations hundreds of years ago would produce abductions into fairyland. People being abducted and dancing and singing and eating with the fairies, right? That's exactly what would happen. But the same thing would happen. They'd eventually get released. All right, the missing time would be quite exaggerated. Or they were away for a year and a day, even 100 years, and suddenly they were released. Quite clearly, folklore takes hold and exaggerates exactly what's going on. But as Jacques Vallée, the famous French UFO researcher, wrote many years ago in a book called Passport to Magonia, there's no question that the modern UFO phenomena is the same as what's been going on in fairy lore for hundreds and hundreds of years. But the thing is that if you were a devout Christian and you encountered one of these light forms in the past, the chances are that you'd suddenly be transported to heaven or to paradise. And again, I give accounts of this in the book. You know, 1909, you know, some guy goes out, encounters this object, comes close. The next thing he knows, Jesus is standing there within paradise himself, and he is then taken and whisked, you know, to paradise. And then the next thing he knows, Jesus is gone, paradise is gone, and he's back out there with the object disappearing away. The object's read his mind and given him this experience. But equally, a God-fearing Christian in medieval times could end up in the bowels of hell itself, being tormented by demons during these experiences. In other words, whatever we put into it is what we get out of it. And I think that this is really important because these intelligences are out there. Everybody here is into crop circles, UFOs, you know, life on other planets and all the rest of it. And yet these intelligences coexist with us all of the time. They're just beyond the normal reality that we exist in today. You know, and we can encounter them at any time. And what I try and do in LightQuest is say, look, these things want to commune with us. You know, they probably are older than biological life itself. They want this experience of this connection with us, but the only way that they can do it is by basically reading our minds and learning from us quickly and instantaneously through entanglement what we want. So, you know, we need to start looking at UFOs differently. For instance, you know, the more we accept that reptile-headed aliens are about to take over the planet, the more that's what you're going to get. Because what you put into it is what you get out of it. Be careful what you believe. Be very careful, because we can make these communions very pleasant indeed. You know, we can make them contact between us and other life forms. And I actually believe that the people involved with the crop circle community understand this better than most people on the planet. I actually do. And because, you know, we've been out there